Welcome back to another edition of Inside the Jump Off Plus today. Once again, got our guest analyst Keil and today we'll be getting started with the topic that is going to be a big-time discussion, I'm sure, over the next week or so, talking about 6'8" post player out of Texas, Brittney Griner, who has been invited to the McDonald's All-American game April 1st, Miami, Florida. Of course, I'll be down there close to South Beach, inside the gym there on the campus of the University of Miami, getting a chance to watch the game. I won't be at the beach. I really be watching the game. Keil, what's your take if she doesn't play, as the rumors and the reports have it so far? How do you feel about that?
Well, you got to take a glasses half full approach to it. It'll give a chance to showcase some of the other talents that will be at the game, like Kelsey Boone, Skylar Diggins, players like that. That might have been under her shadow for a duration of the high school evaluation period, because obviously a 6'8" player that's doing the things she is athletically just receives so much press. But it'll give those players obviously a chance to shine a little bit more than they might have. And I'm a little disappointed, and I'm sure everybody is. I think it probably would have been really cool to see her compete in the dunk contest, a la Candace Parker, and maybe take it home for the girls. But it's disappointing, and it's one of those things where the McDonald's game is such a well-known game and such a global thing where you want to put your best foot forward, and she's definitely this class's best foot. But if she's not there, the show must go on.
Gotcha. Well, it's funny. There have been conflicting reports over the past 72 hours on the reasons why Griner might or might not be in attendance. Kind of the one that's been publicized the most is the school not letting her out of school there. She goes to Nimitz High School there in Houston, Texas. Putting that on the school that they're not allowing her to miss that class time. And she has said that she's going to participate in the WBC All-American game in St. Louis, which I'll also be at up there, getting ready for the Final Four and all the preparations for that. The biggest thing I think, at least on my end, is obviously you want Griner in there, especially as somebody who can compete in the slam dunk competition. And I know you mentioned Candace Parker's name, and I remember watching Candace put a couple of those dunks in. And I think the difference even between Griner and Candace is just the ability and the consistency of which Griner can dunk. Griner really dunks time and time again in various ways, just like the boys do. I mean, she gets up and two-hand, and she can windmill it, and I mean, she can do a lot of things with the basketball that I think would bring a lot of attention in about a week's-long span to the girls' game, and definitely with the possibility of being the #1 play on some of the media outlets to do the top 10 plays night in and night out. I mean, she just has that capability of doing those things if she's able to take part in the game. So now I hope for the game's sake that they're able to get that resolved and get her out there on whatever end and whatever conflict it is. I think she'd be ashamed if she doesn't play, because in that respect she's probably the most well-known and most highly regarded and publicized player over the past 10 years, maybe even more so than Maya Moore or Candace Parker, because she can dunk the ball consistently.
YouTube sensation.
Right, definitely. Moving on to, thanks to YouTube, by the way, for the show. Moving on, talking about Morgan Tolles. Keil, you had a chance to watch the WBC Honorable Mention All-American last week. Tell us about what you saw.
Well, I went out to what I thought was going to be a great matchup between Marist and Sandy Creek, two of the local schools here in Georgia. Marist, the perennial team, sent the kid up to Notre Dame, and there's going to be a freshman at Notre Dame right now. They've got a gang of kids right now that should be able to play college basketball at some level. And obviously Sandy Creek with Morgan Tolles, WBCA honorable mention, Auburn signee. The list of Morgan Tolles accolades is long. But I get to the gym, and I'm excited to see a game, and unfortunately Morgan's on the bench in street clothes. So they played the first half out, and Sandy Creek was down about 4 or 5 at halftime. And Morgan comes out, and she's got a uniform and some shoes on. So I'm thinking, okay, a little bit of Willis Reed here. It looked like there had been a little bit of discussion during the halftime whether or not she was going to play, and she came out thinking she was going to play. She took part in warm-ups. They did a little half-court layup line, and she came back to the bench, and it was a no-go. But Sandy Creek definitely put on they tried their best without her. It's hard to win without your best player by far. But it was a great game. Marist took the game, and they're going to move on to the state final.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Marist, the team, actually have been talking about for a while. They saw them at the Battle of the Southeast earlier this year, and they beat a very good Buford team. I know that Keil wrote an article last week that had them as a possible Final Four, if not a state title team in Class 4A. So they're definitely really good. And, you know, unfortunately, Toles wasn't able to play in her last game. I've been watching her since she was an 8th grader, so, you know, for her to not be able to suit up and have the opportunity to get on the floor, I'm sure was tough for her due to injury. But she'll be great next year down at Auburn for Coach Fortner, and they'll be really good. Moving on, I had a chance for the first time on Sunday afternoon to sit and watch Monica Wright play in person. You know, I had a chance, obviously, I've heard about her for years and seen her on some video and seen her even on TV earlier this year when she, you know, gave Tennessee fits right there in early November when the season was just getting underway and tipped off. But, you know, to be able to watch her in person, she just, you know, you understand what all the fuss and the hype is about. You know, she had a tough night offensively. Tough night only being 18 as opposed to maybe 25 or 30 as Virginia lost the game by 10. But, man, she can really play. Gets out on the floor, has an extra gear, you know, can shoot it, is really good in the mid-range and off the bounce. Kyle, you got a chance to watch her in that game. What'd you think?
I was surprised that Virginia didn't go to her a little bit more often. I mean, obviously, Monica Wright's had a great year scoring the ball for them this season, and she's one of the few players in the country that you can count on to put up a consistent over 15-plus point per night production. You know, she doesn't have too many off nights. She finds ways to score. She can knock the three down. She can get to the free throw line at a high rate. Shoots the mid-range jumper at a high percentage. So all the things that she's able to provide for them offensively is really interesting to see how sometimes they shy away from her and go to other resources or, you know, other players on the court. But you know, obviously, I think you've got to make sure that time in and time out you're getting her the ball. They slowed down and went away from her a little bit when she got into foul trouble. But as soon as she comes back out on the court, you got to get her a look.
Yeah, you're right. She picked up her fourth with just under 7 minutes to go, and, you know, Coach Ryan, you know, pulled her until about the 4-minute mark, and, you know, obviously with 3 minutes that late in the game, you know, you're out of rhythm a little bit, and she took a couple tough shots, hit the first one, and then missed a couple down the stretch. You know, they're really going to benefit, though, when point guard China Crosby steps on the floor next year for them from the Manhattan Center in New York right now. She's going to give them the energy and just the leadership, I think, at the point guard that's going to give Monica Wright just some more opportunities to be able to score the bucket in her senior year, some easier looks, as Crosby does a good job of knocking down the three off the reversal, which is something they don't necessarily have right now. And also does a great job of just getting into the lane, finding people, and even hitting people back on the pitch out 4-3. So looking forward to watching those two pair for at least one ACC season. And as always, we thank you for tuning in to another episode of InsideTheJumpOffPlus.com today. Special thanks to Kyle Anthony Moore, and we'll see you next time. Remember, any gym is home.